But it just shows you the hard work that we do, especially when it comes to Citation 10s. The great aircraft, they're super fast. They're going to East Coast, West Coast very, very quickly. And our passengers love them. They get from A to B in a super quick time. And you also got that added little bit of luxury. There's plenty of space on these aircraft. You can sit back and relax. But you can get from California to New York in record times.
Welcome back, everybody, to another online business briefing brought to you by SmallCapVoice, where we shine a spotlight on some of the smartest and freshest plays out there in the market today. And I was speaking to the leadership team of this next company last week, and they had just had a quarterly board meeting, and they thought, hey, it would be great to give our shareholders and potential investors the opportunity to sort of have a peek in to everything that was discussed at our quarterly board meeting. So welcoming to the show right now from the company Premier Air Charter Incorporated, traded on the OTCID under the ticker symbol PREM. We're going to welcome the chairman of the board, that's Vince Monteparte, and we're also going to be welcoming to the show the president of the company, and that's Ross Gourdie. We've spoken to both of them individually, but I'm happy to welcome them both to the show today. Vince, welcome. Thanks for making time.
Thanks, Stuart. Good to see you again.
Absolutely. And Ross, yourself, welcome back. It's good to speak with you again.
You too, Stuart. Yeah, looking forward to this.
Right. Well, Vince, let's start with you as the chairman of this board. Performance of the business is topic number one, and really kind of looking back on 2024 as our lens here that we're looking at 2025 with. Give us where you see the improvements.
Well, I mean, that's one of the big areas here with Premier. I mean, if we look at year over year, first half of 25 compared to the first half of 24, revenue is up 18%. And when you put that in the whole category of the growth in the charter market, particularly the U.S., Mexico, Canada, and the Caribbean, that's about 14% compounded annual growth. So we're pretty much in line or ahead of that. And our second quarter numbers, if you isolate the second quarter numbers from Premier, up 36% from second quarter to 24. So Ross and his team have done a tremendous job in dealing with the growth of the market, while bringing more charter flight hours to meet that demand. And that's one of the things that the board commented on to Ross and his team last week is that, job well done. You'll find some companies today struggling to keep up with demand, but Premier has been able to keep it up and even expand that. So quite impressed with the results for the first half and for Q2 2025.
Well, great. And once again, you are getting a peek behind the scenes of what was actually discussed at this quarterly board meeting. And Ross, coming to you regarding the operational performance for the company. Obviously, some of the things that we've learned here at SmallCapVoice, being new to the charter industry, but over the last 6 months, pulling articles industry-wide, is we really feel like your company and the whole entire industry is on the precipice of this really nice growth spurt that's about to happen. And all of the news is very positive, with people figuring out, hey, if I use this simple software, I can find open seats on luxury planes for maybe a small upcharge to what I would pay, dealing with all the headaches of being at these large airports and everything else. So operationally, Ross, let's hear it from you. How do you see things?
Yeah, we've been really pleased with the numbers, especially in the past few months, Stuart. Yeah, Q2 was a big improvement on Q1. We can see that continuing going into Q3 and Q4. But yeah, from an operational point of view, yeah, the aircraft are flying. It's awesome. The sales team are doing great. They're selling trips. We're still doing the regular trips to Mexico. We're still doing East Coast, West Coast trips. And we're also adding in now the Hawaii trips for the summer vacations. So we're really pleased the way things have went. But we're always looking to expand. We're always looking to change things. Right now, we're still looking for more pilots because we want to get more aircraft on board. And also in the maintenance side of things, we want to add more mechanics. We're currently recruiting some mechanics as we speak. Because I really do want to expand on maintenance, as I've said to you before. We see that as a great avenue, a great potential line of revenue. So hopefully now we'll see some new mechanics, some new faces flying aircraft as well. And fingers crossed, we're going to add in some younger, some potentially newer aircraft before the end of the year. So fingers crossed we see at least 2 or 3 new aircraft getting added. We're looking at some young Citation 10s. We're looking at some Challenger 604s. So hopefully next time we chat, we could have a couple of additions to the aircraft fleet, which will improve things greatly, even more.
Well, and I want to point out a press release, listeners, and here's the dateline for it. It's August 5th, 2025. Here's the headline: Premier Air Charter earns national recognition for citation excellence.
Mhm.
Now, again, we're talking about a board meeting, but some of this news can just be plain and flat out missed. And I don't want you to miss news like this because you are nationally ranked 6th in this area, and you're a young, small company growing rapidly out of Southern California. This is a big validation, Ross.
Yeah, do you know, when we heard the news, the top 6 and the top 10 in the whole of America was unbelievable. But it just shows you the hard work that we do, especially when it comes to Citation 10s. The great aircraft, they're super fast. You know, they're going East Coast, West Coast very, very quickly. And our passengers love them. You know, they get from A to B in a super quick time. And you also got that added little bit of luxury. There's plenty of space on these aircraft. You can sit back and relax. But you can get from California to New York in record times, or even just getting to Miami, or even that short hop to Texas. The passengers love them. And we've got some great experienced pilots that fly these aircraft. On top of that, as once again, I'm a maintenance guy, so I'm going to back the maintenance team here. They stay on top of these aircraft. They get these aircraft in prime condition. Any problems are dealt with quickly. We do our day-to-day schedule maintenance, our weekly maintenance, our monthly maintenance. And these aircraft fly, Stuart. It's awesome. It's great news that we're up there with the big boys. And long may that continue. And as I say, if we can get more Citation 10s added to the fleet, the future's bright. It's going to be awesome.
Well, Vince, I love your quote within this press release. While this recognition is a proud moment for us, it comes as no surprise. The premier air charter team operates with a level of passion and purpose that's truly unmatched. That's a great quote, Vince. And I want to turn it back to you before we get to your next question to just get your thoughts on how this company, with its size, can be in the top 10 and darn near the top 5.
Yeah. Well, Stuart, I'm the new guy on the block here with Premier. I joined as chairman back in May. And, that quote it was a natural quote from me, just coming on and watching the team grow, watch how they handle adversity during a normal day or over a weekend, and seeing how they handle that and how they make sure that they put the customer first in terms of safety and service. And you see the demographics of people using private charter now has changed over the last 5, maybe 7 years. And you got a wide range of demographics. So it's not the corporate entity anymore. It's not the retired family or anything like that. It is the demographics are really wider now. And so we have to meet that demand and meet that service demands. The team has really stepped up with that, and the board recognized that in the meeting last week.
Excellent. Well, speaking of that board meeting, once again, Vince, let's hear it from you. But Ross, I'm going to ask you the same question. Operationally moving forward, guys, looking at the second half of 2025, drivers, let's look at it from this perspective, a SWOT analysis, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Vince, hit the highlights for me of what you expect to see, and let us know if there's any challenges that maybe need to be addressed as we move forward and have growing pains with the rapid expansion that your company is seeing.
Well, the strength is the team and the execution on a daily basis. That is the biggest strength. The opportunity, as I mentioned at the outset of our talk here, the growth of this industry and how we are aligning ourselves with that growth. We see the third quarter being no different. We're projecting the third quarter of being well into the double digits of growth. And so we're extremely looking forward to that. The weaknesses, obviously, is can we fill the roles of both pilots and maintenance staff? Just like everyone else out there, they're getting good talent, and we're very selective. Ross and his team are very selective who they bring in. So I watch that on a daily basis, the people that they bring in, and the threats. Hey, when you have a growing market like this, you have new entrants on it constantly. And so what we're trying to do with that threat is look at how the market is growing, and then present that to some of our financing partners. And how can we now work with some of those financing partners on a new way and bringing more aircraft into the fleet? And also, how do we bring those pilots in along with that aircraft? Make that part of the process instead of get the plane and then bring the crews in. So we're kind of, getting a little bit ahead of the game here, and all because of how that market's growing.
Well, Ross, let me ask you the same question. How do you see the end of 2025 shaping up for your company?
Yeah, Vince summed it up really well there. We've got the strengths are definitely the team. We've got a great team here, especially lately with the sales team. They've been bringing in the sales. They've got great office staff, and of course, there's pilots and mechanics on top of that. But yeah, I can see. I'm really excited about Q3, Stuart. It's always a good quarter traditionally in the business aviation. Q4 as well, because you're going to eventually bring in Thanksgiving and the holiday period. So we always end the year well. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, some of the weaknesses, there's always a few curveballs. Every weekend, every day, there's always a few fires you've got to fight. But you deal with it, and that comes back to the team. The team deal with these problems day in, day out, over a weekend, sometimes at horrible times of day, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. But going back to it, I think I've got the team of individuals that can do that. We're going to add more. We're going to add more staff. We're going to add more aircraft. So once again, Q3 could be good. Q4 could be even better. Fingers crossed. We see the aircraft we can get our hands on. We get the investment. And yeah, we still see the sales shooting up. Yeah, going back to what your point said there, Stuart. Well, I want to get out the top 6. I want to be top 5 in the country when it comes to Citation 10s and any other aircraft we can fly as much as possible. So yeah, Vince summed it up very well there. The teamwork is essential, but there's always a few fires you've got to fight. But we deal with it. We get it done in the end. We get the job done.
Well, I want you to visit premieraircharter.com right there on the homepage. Scroll down just a little bit. Go ahead and request your quote. Get a hold of this sales team. Hey, look, if you're one of the whales that is thinking about coming into this stock, then it should be no problem for you to book your own flight here with Premier Air Charter. What a great way to get to know this company is booking some flights, adding that ticker symbol PREM to your watch list right now. Do your due diligence, pull up the news, pull up the financial filings, and stick with us here. You can leave a comment below, you can subscribe, but we're going to be checking in with these guys after every one of their quarterly board meetings, as well as in between that. And we're lucky enough to be welcoming some analysts in the next couple of months as well that are going to discuss the company from a fundamental perspective and from a third-party view. So they're outside the company, which is going to give us a little bit of a different insight into Premier Air Charter. Vince, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Stuart.
Absolutely. And Ross, always wonderful to speak with you. Thank you for your time as well.
Thanks, Stuart. Appreciate it.
All right. For Vince and Ross, this is Stuart Smith saying thanks so much for tuning in to this online business briefing brought to you by SmallCapVoice.